r/NoStupidQuestions. Little Fairhiss says, why have corporations in recent years seemingly been on a race to the bottom with the quality of their products? There's been this very obvious trend in recent years, in pretty much every industry, where companies tend to cut corners more and more often, and make lower and lower quality products. It used to be just smaller shadier companies, and the name brands were usually decent quality or better, but it feels like everyone does it now. The tech industry being the most obvious, with many large companies trying to give you as little as possible for the most cost. Just look at Netflix's infamous policy or the way modern video games push things like microtransactions with broken shitty products on release for AAA titles. In manufacturing, everything from farm equipment to, as just has been recently revealed, airliners, cut corners, cheap out, and throw out low quality products. Just look at newer cars, which tend to be flashy, but easily breakable with tiny service lives. Even the food industry in many places has seen a notable dip in quality since the new millennium, charging similar prices for increasingly worse food. I get many take the easy route and just say capitalism, but that's not really the full story here. Whenever you hear about this kind of thing, the argument usually is, remember when this kind of thing didn't happen? America was just as capitalist then as it is now. So what the hell happened? What exactly happened where large corporations see this as okay now, and why has this been a more recent trend? Edit, to the folks saying late stage capitalism. Why was the US in, let's say, the 1950s, when saying anything other than capitalism was the best economic philosophy, could find you in very very hot water, was much less anti-consumer? Personally, I'm not buying it. Maybe socialism is the solution, but there's something deeper than just the pure nature of capitalism. Sivakuro says, once a company hits saturation, there's only two ways to achieve that almighty growth Wall Street demands: raise prices or decrease quality, cost of production. You are seeing that with streaming right now. Entertainment has little tolerance for decreased quality, so prices get raised. A couple recent strikes ending also play a little into increased operating costs. A lot of physical goods are in tight competition, where price hikes aren't really an option. IMHO, the ideal operation is a non-publicly traded one that is satisfied with the level of operation they are at. Rogers4 says, an interesting case I heard is Instapot being at or near bankruptcy. Basically, they built a perfectly reliable product with no additional offerings or annual add-ons. Enough people bought one and didn't need a new one since it works so well. Hard to grow that company. Geekdom Central says, yeah, I've heard this too, which is so depressing. The market actually punishes them for having a product that's high enough quality. Someone I used to know 99 says, interesting how people don't know or don't remember how it was before the flurry of consumer protection laws. Cars would rust through. Products would break the day after you bought them, if they worked at all. We are heading back to that after a series of administrations have weakened, and in some cases, done away with consumer protections and advocacy. Buyer beware. r/NoStupidQuestions. Chan Setha Prince says, Christmas didn't well, Christmas. Was it just me? It just kinda felt dull, like the rest of the year had been, for me at least. Anybody else feel like that? Candid Chemical 123 says, have to agree. I have younger kids and teens, the 7th of October 14.15. And it was very move along this year. Even my husband, who is a huge Christmas nut, didn't wanna decorate or anything. It felt very much forced. For us at least. PM Miyotati says, this sentiment has been brought up by friends every year for the last 14 that I can remember, and there were even a couple big Reddit threads about it this Christmas. Not to mention all the other places on the internet that people bring it up every year, lol. Kai Pineapple says, I felt Christmas But I make it feel Christmas. We've got 3 sons 10 and under. And my wife is a super decorator. I will say that it is not the same as it was even 8 to 10 years ago. Not to mention 20 years ago. When I was younger I felt like it was colder and we had more snow. It feels like the seasons have been switching or getting pushed back a bit. Typically in my area it started getting cool in September. By Oct it was chilly. Nov would have our first snow and Ek would bring us a white Christmas nearly every year. Then Jan and Feb would be miserably cold, but March always came with the sun. Now it is hot from April to mid-November. December is the new October. Even January is now 40 to 50 female. r/NoStupidQuestions. Holiday Fix 2882 says, does anybody else get really depressed on Sunday after 4 o'clock going into the evening? IDK what it is about Sundays, but I just want to completely shut down. Just sit down on the couch and watch TV, or just stay in bed all day. I just feel really empty and numb to emotions and just feel like I don't have anything to live for. Even though I have a job I have no friends or relationship with a girl. Not to make this post too long. Corporalb says, the Sunday scares happens every time. Jedirico says, Sundays depress me because it is my Monday and I start at 9:30 p.m. Route Inner Reflection 658 says, yes, I always thought I was alone in this. I've always wondered if it's some kind of mental conditioning from when I was younger. For me, it's the hour of 3 mass a kid. That was the time I was most exhausted from school and had to go home to do homework, which was no fun. And then the weekend came and it was great, but Monday would come and I'd have to do it all again. I sort of wonder if the school system caused me to hate Sunday evening soups. Long Jumping Mobile 71 says, yes, I have a job now that I don't even mind going to and don't hate it, but even then I still get that feeling. Sterling Phonix says, the long dark tea time of the soul. r/NoStupidQuestions. Il Kaleidoscope 648 says, what does the 85% effectiveness of condoms actually mean? Planned Parenthood says that condoms have a 85% effectiveness in reality. Does that mean that if I have sex 1000 times, I'm going to end up transferring some semen / coming into contact with the vagina around 150 times? Corbin 11 says, out of 1000 people using condoms 150 women will get pregnant over a year. It's 85% every time you have sex. The number doesn't go up or down depending on how much sex you have. Here's a very simple and simplified example for a 87% chance to win a coin toss. It would be like flipping a coin 3 times and hitting tails 3 times in a row, but if you got heads 1 time any of those flips you win. Birth says, over a year is a huge thing here too. 85% effectiveness feels like it means it results in pregnancy 15 out of 100 sex acts, but the average person is having sex significantly more than once a year. Say the average was 10 times a year, for ease of math. 85% effective means 15 pregnancies per 1000 sex acts. /178 says, no. If you use it according to the directions every time, the chances are much better. That figure includes people that don't use it properly. Sideways Alibi says, leaving the condom in your wallet substantially decreases effectiveness. Nurse Cat 356 says, it means idiots can't wear them properly. Turbulent Mango 910 says, incorrect use diminishes the protective effect of condoms by leading to condom breakage, slippage, or leakage. Incorrect use more commonly entails a failure to use condoms throughout the entire sex act, from start of sexual contact to finish after ejaculation. r/NoStupidQuestions. Alarmed Pollution 89 says, what happened to all the cafeterias? I was a child of the 70s and 80s, and I remember even into the 90s having restaurants back then that weren't buffets, but cafeterias with great food. What happened to them? Cisco 55 says, 1. The food wasn't as good as you thought. It was mostly a home-style cooked food, so there was a nostalgia. 2. It was cheap, so a lot of people went, but as prices rose, fewer people went, so they were discontinued. 3. COVID. Group anything was discontinued. And a lot of restaurants either closed or realized they didn't need the buffet. 4. The ones that are still around are pretty good. But mostly they are Asian style with high volume. KTK80 says, Morrison's, Piccadilly, S&S. I miss M2. Put your foot down says, I was just talking about K&W cafeterias. Off Tangent says, no idea what you guys are talking about. What's a cafeteria outside a school or office? Super upset that a low-cost place to get basic food that is almost the same cost as cooking isn't a thing. Just having the flexibility to get food when you don't have access to a kitchen to cook without paying up the wall for something basic. Not even college meal plan cafeterias are affordable anymore, and that was 10 years ago for me. No clue how expensive it is now. Goldscope says, Piccadilly still exists in some SES cities. Curry says, they're sort of coming back in certain areas, but the new name for them are food halls. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.